Hello everyone, my name is Todd Domachowski. I am a 19-year financial management officer in the Air Force and the ANG. I have been instructing personal finance for over 15 years and I've authored a few pieces on personal finance. I'm here to give you some information about the blended retirement system. Before we start, a disclaimer. This information provided in this briefing does not constitute endorsement by the Department of Defense, American Society of Military Comptrollers, or the Association of Government Accountants. Further, the briefer assumes no responsibility for consequences resulting from the use of this information. This is a voluntary service intended to improve the knowledge of military members in regards to BRS. I've called this the Financial Leadership Series because my goal is to lead, guide, and mentor you all to better financial literacy. Decision support for Active Duty and AGRs, Active Guard Reserves, for those in the reserve component, from the blended retirement system. Some brief information before we get into the examples I really want to show you. What is the difference between our current system, which is now called Legacy, to the blended retirement system? We're going to focus here on the defined benefit, which is the pension system. Either or still requires 20 years of credible service. That does not change. To get a pension, you must do 20 years. So under the legacy system, how the formula is set up, it's 2.5 times years of service times your high 36-month average of base pay. So for the whole concept of a 20-year military career, 2.5 times 20 is 50% of base pay for the rest of your life once you're eligible for a pension. Under the blended retirement system, or BRS, that multiplier drops to 2.0, which is a 20% reduction in pension. So again, 2.0 times years of service times that high 36 for a 20-year career. 2.0 times 20 times high 36 is 40% of base pay. Again, 20% reduction. New components of the blended retirement system that will help you or attempt to help you make up that 20% reduction in pension is defined contribution plans, meaning your contribution is defined. You know how much you're putting into the system, but you don't know how much you're getting out because your money's in the stock market. So the first portion of TSP is matching contributions. So if you put money into the system, you get money out of the system for free from the government. So the basic number you should be focusing on here is 5%. So if you want to opt into the blended retirement system, you need to put 5% in of your money to get 5% back from the government. Those in the orange box and the green box here, those are for new accessions coming in 1 January 2018. If you're currently in uniform today, you do not have to worry about those colored boxes because you will start seeing matching contributions immediately once you opt in. Again, this is just for the new blended retirement system. You put in 5, you get 5 back for a total of 10. Some little details on the thrift savings plan, which is like a 401k plan. Your matching contributions will stop at 26 years of service. So if you happen to be 12 years into the system already under legacy and you decide to opt into the blended retirement system, your matching contributions will stop in 14 years once you hit 26 years of service. All your matching goes to your traditional side or your tax-deferred side. In TSP, you can have 2 accounts. There is one that is tax-deferred, also called traditional, meaning you pay no taxes now, but when you withdraw that money at age 60-ish, you will be taxed. Or the Roth side, which is you pay taxes now, but you never, ever, ever pay them again. Regardless of which one you have, all the matching contributions go to your traditional tax-deferred side. Another new portion is continuation pay. This is a bonus, aka bonus, you'll receive around your 12-year mark. Right now, under 2018 policy, they have decided the multipliers are going to be the bare minimum. So for an AGR or active duty, it's a 2.5 to 13 times your monthly base pay. And you'll receive this bonus at your 12-year mark. You have to sign an agreement to serve at least 3 more years. All services have stated 4 is the number they're looking for. So those who are under 12 years could receive this continuation pay. Those who already have more than 12 years of service do not get continuation pay. I just want to highlight again that the 2018 policy for all branches is the bare minimum of 2.5 times your monthly base pay. Another new component is lump sum. It allows you to take a lump sum benefit for your retirement. This is I'm still out on this one. I don't think it's a great idea because you actually lose money in retirement, because what they do is they take a portion of your retirement, add it all up together. So let's say it's 20 years, for example. I'm just giving an example here. So they add up the next 20 years of your pension. They allow you to take 25 to 50% of your base pay, and then they reduce it by another discount factor. So you technically lose money if you opt into the lump sum. So more information on that one. I'm not going to hit that one very hard. We're very long from someone actually taking this, so more analysis will have to be done. This is a chart for you that I kind of made up if you're thinking about opting into BRS. Do I opt into BRS? Yes. If you know right now you're not going to serve 20 years in the military, meaning you're not going to be able to get a pension because you just don't want to serve 20 years, this is a perfect decision for you to opt into BRS, because that matching contributions, as long as you put in 5% of your own money, you'll get 5% back from the government. You can take that with you when you leave the military. Or you're willing to accept some investment risk. Investment risk in TSP means you understand the risks involved in the stock market. Every dollar you put in the stock market is at risk of being lost. Well, you could gain money, but you could lose money. So understand that risk is very important. If this is you, then go into my pay on 1 January 2018 and opt in. Simple. The real big focus on that one is not serving 20 years, so you're not going to get a pension, or you're willing to understand and take the risk in the stock market. If you're a maybe, if you're unsure about your 20-year career and you might be willing to take some risk, then gain more knowledge. Go talk to one of those financial advisors on base and seek help. If you're a hard no and opting into BRS, if you're risk adverse, meaning you're afraid of the stock market, you have your money buried in your backyard in mason jars, or it's underneath your mattress, you probably don't belong in the stock market. If you're physically afraid and mentally afraid of the stock market, of losing your money, you don't belong in the blended retirement system. That's an easy one. If you're going to serve 20 years and you want your full pension without taking the reduction, then stay under legacy. Do not convert. It means you don't have to do anything. You default to legacy, and you're good to go. Active duty and active guard examples. Example number 1. I picked an enlisted troop, airman, sailor, Marine, who joined January 1st, 2014 at age 20, retires after 28 years of service. What I did for this person is I inflated or gave them a raise of 2.1% every year they were in the military. I promoted them correctly. So I actually lived this person's life. Career numbers: 28 years of credible service, retires as an E8. Continuation pay, assuming they opted into blended retirement system, at their 12-year mark, which is year 2026, would be the range of $10,890 to $56,600. That's actually in 2026 dollars. So that's future year dollars. Active duty AGRs, remember, they get 2.5 to 13 times their monthly base pay, but however, 2018 policy says 2.5 is the number, and that's what that actually represents. 2.5 being the $10,890. Under the legacy pension, meaning they did not opt into BRS, they're under legacy, they're using the 2.5 multiplier, their pension in 2042 will be $6,548 per month. In 2042, future year dollars. In today's dollars, we can bring that back to roughly $4,000. Under BRS, it's just a math problem. Reduce it by 20%. So in 2042, that's $5,238, or roughly a $1,300 difference per month. In today's dollars, about $3,180, so about $800. That is a simple math problem. Computing pensions is pretty simple. The next part we're going to deal with deals with thrift savings plan and the stock market. Before we start, I want to give some basic assumptions. Airman Smith contributed from day one to their TSP account. at 5% of their pay. Day one, they joined, they did 5%, which is a smart thing to do to always save money for retirement. It's always good to save for retirement. They received an 8% return on investment, meaning if you happen to have a savings account out there and you get 1% interest every year, this is really no difference. It's 8% every year that they're getting. So under the legacy system, I'm going to call them Airman Smith. Airman Smith did not join into BRS. They didn't opt in. They're staying under legacy. Their TSP balance would roughly be $596,000 at age 60. The reason I use age 60 is under normal 401k law or TSP law, you can touch your money penalty-free at 59 and a half. I use 60 for simplicity reasons. There are other rules that allow you to touch your money earlier, but that will take too long to explain on this video. I'm going to use the 4% withdrawal rule, which happens to be, they say, if you can draw about 4% of your retirement account every year, and you should be fine for 30 plus years. So, assumptions. Airman Smith did not take all the $596,000 out of their TSP at one time. They kept it in TSP. They put it into a less risky investment. Instead of earning 8% like they were, they're now earning 4%. And they're going to take about $2,000 per month, which is $24,000 per year, which is 4% of their balance. Assuming a 2% inflation rate, that money will last them 34 years. So at 94 years old, Airman Smith's probably dead, and the money's gone. But Airman Smith still has the pension. Under BRS, the dollar figure is much larger because Airman Smith was getting matching contributions. Airman Smith also invested their continuation pay of $11,000, roughly, which is that 2.5 multiplier, into their TSP account, which is what they want you to do. They want you to save it. Now, I have to explain this next two parts here. Airman Smith joined at 20, did 28 years, so Airman Smith is 48 years old. Airman Smith can't touch their TSP account on average until age 59 and a half or 60. So Airman Smith has to live 12 years on a reduced pension because they opt into BRS. Over that 12 years, that reduced pension is $212,000 over that 12 years. So what I did is I divided that total by 30 to go over 30 years and got a yearly amount. I added that to the $24,000, and then I added another 20% reduction of their pension because now the $212,000 was the past. Now we're going present and future. So that $47,000 that you see there is the $24,000, which is a 4% withdrawal rule, the $212,000 with a lost pension divided by 30, and then the 20% reduction going forward. That money will last them 33 years. So looking at these figures, comparing the two, which money lasts longer? And right there, it is legacy. Legacy will last you longer. Opinion. To make BRS really work for you, you must aggressively invest and have faith in the stock market. You can't be afraid of the stock market. I used 8% in my example here. A historical S&P 500 average, which is a widely used indicator, since 1928, it's returned on average about 10%. So I used 8%, which is still kind of aggressive. But you need to be aggressive to make it work. The numbers, the math, does not pan out if you use lower returns on investment. So what I did here is I took my information that I did purely in Excel, also using some financial calculators online, including the DoD pension system retirement calculator. I put my information, my example, into the DoD's official BRS calculator. This is the information that popped out under the total retirement package. First glance, you're probably saying, hey, blended retirement system is better. What is this whole legacy thing being better on the prior slide? Well, this is where the retirement calculator, the official one, is a little bit skewed. It actually will tell you in the retirement calculator that since TSP is not part of the official legacy retirement system, even though it's optional, it's not part of it, we do not count it in the calculation. So to even things up and to go back to my example, because if TSP is an option for you, you should be saving for retirement. I highly recommend it. I'm going to add my example back in of this E3 Airman Smith who contributed TSP on day one at 5% of their pay. I'm going to add it, the information that blended system gave us under service member TSP. I'm going to carry it over to Legacy, and let's see what happens. When we do the math problem, Legacy retirement system comes out on top like it did in my prior example. So it validated my independent Excel example. Example 2, the only difference here is, hey, it's an officer. Joined same time, age 20, young officer, retires after 26 years of service. So 26 years criminal service, retires as an 05. Continuation pay, right there, 2.5 to 13 times is right there. An officer makes more money than an enlisted troop, so that's why they're a little larger. And an example, we use the 21,000 because based on 2018 policy, it's 2.5. Legacy pension. I went ahead and used the DoD's official online calculator for retiring using a high 36 average calculator. Boom, that's what popped out in $2040. I brought it back to 2017. BRS, just a math problem, 20% less. There it is right there. That pensions are easy to calculate. When it comes to the stock market and doing those, there's a lot of more assumptions to deal with, and there's a lot of what ifs. So TSP day one, 01 Smith, or I'm going to call him Lieutenant Smith, contributed from day one at 5% of their pay, got 8% return on investment again. Under Legacy, they're going to roughly have a little over $1 million at age 60. Using that 4% rule of withdrawal, which happens to be $42,000 per year, earning 4% in TSP, I'm getting 2% inflation rate as well. It's going to last about 34.5 years. So at 94.5, money runs out. Lieutenant Smith is left with her legacy pension. Under BRS, $2.1 million, so basically doubled. That's all that matching contributions, the compounding effect, investing the $22,000 from the continuation pay. It's really good. And you can actually split up that continuation pay in up to 4 different equal sections. That will help with one with taxes and also help you with putting it into TSP, because you can only put up to $18,000 into TSP in a given year as of 2017, and it changes every year. But that could help you get around that. So back to the lost pension. Remember here, now Lieutenant Smith retired at 46 years old. That's 14 years of lost pension that they have to live on. That comes out to be $359,000. So again, did the same thing, took $359 divided by 30, got an annual total, added it to that $42,000. That's the past, and I went to the future and the current, factored in the 20% reduction. That happens to be $77,000 per year. The money will last them 39 years. So right now, I know what you're saying. BRS is better. BRS is better. Technically, based on the math, it is. Perfect theoretical example. However, this is one of those things that is a great example of having faith in the stock market. In this perfect theoretical example, you must get an average of 8% return on investment for BRS to win. When I dropped it down to 7% return on investment, Legacy is better. Legacy turned out to be the better option. That's a very fine line of determining what you can get, what you can't get. So there's no way you can guarantee you're going to get 8% return on investment. There's no way you can guarantee to get 7% return on investment. But this is a very fine line. So what I did is I put it into the DoD retirement calculator as well, just to kind of figure out, hey, was I not seeing something? So again, we talked about this one. I added in the service member TSP, and boom, again, blended retirement system came out better. However, it is a very fine line. We're talking less than $300,000 between the two of these. And that's because of 8% return on investment versus 7%. So if you don't want to deal with guarantees and you're willing to take the risk, you might make out better under this BRS in this perfect example here for the officer. But if you don't get the 8% and you get less, a Legacy will turn out better. But I want to focus something here right on this one example. Look at the pensions. Look at the guarantee under Legacy, $8.6 million. This is going out to age 85. Under blended retirement system, that pension is $6.8 million. That's a guarantee right there. So I will let you make your decision, but there's a very fine line and a lot of assumptions and a lot of faith with the stock market. So, decision support. If you plan on serving at least 20 years in the military, at least 20 years, I recommend, because the stock market is unpredictable, you remain under the legacy system and start contributing to your TSP account at a level of at least 5% immediately. Immediately. Start your 5%, at least 5% immediately in your TSP account. This will allow you to maximize your guarantee, meaning your pension, and still have the ability to experience stock market growth with your TSP account, putting at least 5% in. Timeline. Right now, 2017, educate, educate, educate. Ask your questions, find your answers so you can be educated when you make your decision when it comes to the opt-in window, which starts January 1st through December 31st, 2018. If you have any questions, leave me a reply, make a comment, or if you have access to the global address list, send me an email. I'm the only one in the United States Air Force. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.